morning, everybody, and welcome back to Waffles RC. For those of you who have continually mentioned my Jeep not being finished, it's on its wheels. If you saw the live last Sunday, you would have seen that it's back on its wheels. But for those of you that aren't able to tune into the live, it's on its wheels. It can't turn, but it's on its wheels. Baby steps. But you're here for RC cars, right? So let's get to finishing the Rotator. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is winches. We have some servos. These are from GoBuilda. They are dual mode, apparently. And dual mode means that they can either be full 360 or just a regular servo. And I did have to get their programmer for it. I'll put links to all this down in the description below. These were quite affordable. They have expensive ones, but they have affordable ones, which are pretty comparable to the ones that you'll find on like Amazon, eBay, maybe not AliExpress if that's where you go, but we'll see how they do. So what I need to do is I need to make a mount, because as you can see, or I don't know if I even showed it, but I got two of them because the Zach lift, the Atlas, has, well, three, but I have two. That's what I can work with. I'm out of channels. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get these to work, but I'm hoping that I will. So I need to make a mount for both of these to sit somewhere up here. I haven't figured out exactly where. I need to make sure that they stay out of the way of the boom lifts and the legs. Let me come up with a plan and I'll show you what I magically came up with to mount these onto this boom somewhere out of the way. And that is what I came up with. As you can see, I have them on a bit of a downward angle, so that way the lines can come down onto the boom and then to the end of the boom, which is over there. But I got both of them on there and they're removable. So as I always preach, you always want to make sure that everything is removable and changeable, so that way if something goes out, you can replace it. I also still have access to this pin, which I'm debating on doing it as a pin or doing it as a bolt, because if I weld it on, then the boom is not removable. Thus my conundrum and going against my own advice. So we'll get to that. That's further down the road. So now the next thing I'm going to do is something that is crucially important to a Rotator. That is the whole roll bar thing that goes over the winches and the whole backside of the boom. I'll put a picture of one right here so that way you can see what my mind is seeing and what I looked up on Google. So now I need to make said roll bar. That's going to be tricky because I want it to look scale. I want it to look just like that one that I just showed you. It's on the Rotator base itself, but on the real trucks, it doesn't go up and down with the boom. It just rotates with the boom. Let me figure out some math and stuff like that. The reason why I'm struggling is because it's an RC car. So I don't have a lot of room to put stuff. And I'm discovering I'm quickly running out of said room. But we are going to make it work because I want that, because I want to put a light on the top, which I have. So let's get that figured out. And there we are. There is my cool little roll bar. And the main reason for it was for that. And because it looks cool. I mean, it really sets it off. Makes it heavier. But those little rams will definitely be able to handle the weight of it. Also, just full disclosure, because that's what this channel is about. It's not the first time I tried that, or the first location. See? Sometimes you make mistakes. Like, I didn't take into consideration when I did the first one that I need to get servos in and out of here. There was that issue. Then I couldn't get the rams on because I put this front bar down too low. Then I couldn't get the rams on. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and make sure you have plenty of material to compensate for your mistakes. It actually worked out well because this is one of the first ones which I used to make those crossbars. Now it looks good. So So we got that. Now, while we're on the boom, we need to figure out the end part. So I think I have an idea. Basically, I need pulleys for the winch lines to go through and then be able to go down or out or something. Need something. I actually have them. All right. So I also got these from GoBuilda, which is just a little bearing pulley thing. Now my plan is to leave this tab, which normally would be the mounting tab, out on the outside, to use that as basically a guide for the winch line. So that way, if it's going down, and it'll keep it in this pulley area. So I just basically have to make an end piece here, put these 2 pulleys, which they come in packs of 2 with shims and everything that you need for it. So I just have to make a plate, put the pulleys about right there so that the winch line comes up, stays on the pulley, and this piece will hopefully keep it on the pulley. Kind of like a sheave head, but it's the best thing I could figure out. So once again, it'll take me about an hour or so. I'm going to make this and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, well, that was longer than an hour. I took my time and I wanted it to look good. Here is the end piece. We have those, what I'm now referring to as the sheave heads for it. The bearings. Now these bearings work really good. The shims that they include in them, like this is tight right now, and these bearings still spin perfectly. Trying to get them in there, plus without measuring and needing my own spacers as well. There are a total of 8 shims on this one bolt, plus the bearing, plus the plates. Like, it was a good 15 minutes just getting that in there, but it sure does look good. I did have to cut more out of this because I completely forgot that by putting this on, I can't get it all the way in to get this ram out. So just had to cut a little bit out of here. All that means is, well, a whole lot of nothing, because you can't see it when it's like that. I mean, you'll see it when it's like that, but when's it ever going to be like that? Doesn't bother me. Sometimes you just got to make some exceptions to, like, functionality over looks. That's my personal opinion. I want it to look good, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make a whole new boom because I needed to cut this. That's a lot of work that I don't feel like doing. It's also a lot of material that I don't have. Anyhow, moving on. We now have, our boom is essentially done. So now, the last, oh, I was looking for this for like 5 minutes. Does anybody else struggle with like losing all their stuff? Like, I have a pair of safety glasses that is just gone, and it's not those ones that are sitting right there. Those are my backups. My mains that I was wearing are completely gone. And I put my gloves down in different places. But let's move on. So, last major fabricating part other than plates, moving that, and final welding everything is our wheel lift. I need to make the piece for the wheel lift. I've thought about it all week. I have an idea, but I don't know how well it's going to work, so I'm going to give it a shot and see what comes out. For you guys, I will put it on a time lapse because I know I've been doing a lot of work without the camera going, but I want to get this thing completely fabbed out so that next week it's paint. That's the goal that I want to reach by the end of the day, is all the welding's done so I can take it apart and paint this thing. And then we can go play with it once I figure out how to get those winches to work. 2 things. One, my idea didn't work, so that's why there wasn't a time lapse, I think. So my first idea was to drill a hole, grind it down to make it a square so that way it would slide back and forth, exactly like the Zach lift. But couple of issues. My drill bits are all bad because of that. So I have no drill bits that were good enough to make that hole, except for one, which is too small, and 2, drill bits are round. and I don't have the right tools to make this a square. Now, yes, I could go get tools to make this a square. I'm not made of money, and neither are you guys. So, you guys know this from the original Zack lift. The biggest difference that I did was I put a bunch of holes. So that way I can make forks, make some slip forks, slide in here, and there you go. The forks will just sit right here. These pins will keep it in place. The weight of the vehicle will keep the pins in there. It's just an RC car, remember, or people. I don't know what I tow. So that's the idea behind that. So now I have to make the forks, which, let me get the other Zack lift. Yeah, the OG. So as you can see, possibly, I don't know. So the back part of the fork is taller than the front part of the fork. That's exactly what I'm going to replicate. What that does is, as you back in, the taller part of the fork will hit the front of the axle, then you lift it up, the back part then goes around it, and there you go. It holds the axle, you drive away. At least that's the theory. That's what I'm going with. Now I'll do a time lapse of making those forks quite quickly, hopefully. Forks that are movable depending upon the vehicle that we are towing. Now, I want you guys to leave in the comments what you see is wrong with this, because I see it and it's really upsetting me, but I don't feel like redoing it right now. I'm going to redo it though, because it's bugging me. But you guys let me know in the comments what's wrong here. Give you a full look at it. Other than bad welds, don't just say bad welds, okay? I know it's welds. You guys let me know. All right, so that is the last of that. Now it's time for lights. I got the brake lights, so I want to start working on those. But I want to put this back on. Actually, no. Yeah, I need to put it back on so I don't lose it. So let me get the lights out, clean up this mess that I have right now, and be right back, and I'll show you the lights that I got. Okay, well, I cleaned and discovered that the lights that I got are too small. I don't like them, so I'm gonna come up with another idea. But what we can do, it's like somebody made this really heavy. If you remember from the last video, I didn't like how low this was. So what I can do is take the bracket that's holding the pivot bars, take that and just move it forward just a little bit, which will raise it up, and it would still be able to get all the way down to the ground. I can see right through there. So let's do that and then disassemble the whole thing and final weld this whole thing. This is going to be fun. Oh look, it's got legs that it can stand on. I can't stand on them upside down. Yeah. For servicing purposes, the Zack lift rotator is able to be put upside down. Don't know how you do that any other way, but it's upside down. I'm very easily amused by the simple things in life. So let's cut this off, move it just a little bit. You know what? I'll actually mark it so that way I know where it was. It's almost time for new gloves. Okay, I just found my glasses again. There they are. Are those them? No. Oh, I just found my good glasses and then, oh, they're right behind you. There we are. Now I can see. Oh, somebody put it in there. I was not smart of that person. It's a little better. Not a whole lot, but it's about the same as where I kept the other one, so I think we're just gonna rock that and call it good. I don't know if you can hear me because I don't know where the microphone is. Okay, I'm gonna save you guys the boring stuff because this is gonna be about an hour's worth of final welding everything. But when you guys come back, this will all be hopefully final welded so that it's all done. But first I need to mark each one of these legs so that I know which one goes to which servo on which side of the truck. Because remember, they're all different. Those sit there and think about what they've done. I'm just kidding, they're really hot and just letting them cool down. So the next thing I want to do is drill holes for lights. I did the same thing on the truck and the other Zack lift and it came out really, really well. So I'm gonna just repeat the same thing. Basically, it's just one of these LED strips. You can cut it to length and all I do is I put it up on this piece right here, put it up, and at each one of these lights I put a mark and then I drill the holes. It's that simple. And the only thing that's holding them in on the truck and on the other Zack lift is super glue. That's it. But they turned out really cool and I want this one to be exactly the same. So as you can see, I'm just putting it on here. Actually, let's make life a little easier this time, shall we? It likes to move. Let's put this where we want it. About right there. I'll mark that hole later. Take that, and we'll take this one. So we'll go to there. Make our life a little easy. So you kind of have to hold it down. Obviously, they like to come up. So we just take it and mark it. Alright, tape, you're in my way. And there we go. So now I need to mark the front one because I had it covered. Right there. And that is how I do these LED strips. Just mark a bunch of holes, drill a bunch of holes, and hope it all lines up afterwards. And there we go. Both side cabinets have all the holes drilled. Now on camera, I'm sure if you paused it and zoomed in, you'd see they're not very good. But let's be real here for a minute. There's going to be very bright lights there. The lights will be so bright, you won't notice that they're not perfectly straight. Or, as I discovered, perfectly round. I need new drill bits. They're not very good. But we work with what we got. So that is what we are doing. So those are done and ready for paint. That's what I'm trying to get everything ready for, is done and ready for paint. These are done and ready for paint. Oh, no, they're not. It would probably help if I made tabs for them to actually like bolt onto that thing. Didn't think that one through. But I think that's tomorrow Mike's problem, so we'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It is a new day. I thought about some stuff last night and realized I need to finish some stuff before I move on to the paint stage, like these. I need them to actually stay on the truck. We drilled the holes for the lights last night. Well, for me, yeah. So now I need to make some tabs for this to sit on here correctly and be able to be bolted in, just so it doesn't, fly off when driving. Also, I need to figure out brake lights. I had a few ideas last night, wasn't very happy with them, so I'm going to do it in a way that I know will work. It's not the idea that I had in my head because the ones that I got were too small, but it's going to look just as good. And then after that, I do need to make some tabs for D-rings. I want to have D-rings on this thing, and I realized I didn't put any on here. So let's start off with the boxes. I'm hoping that it's just going to be quick and simple, or as easy as make some tabs or use the tabs that are in here and just drill some holes. Oh, I also need to put sheet metal on the bottom for all the electronics to sit on. Let's do this one step at a time. I'll bring you guys right back. I got carried away because I just wanted to work. So I'll show you what I did. So we have the tabs here for the boxes over there. One there. Right up here, I drilled a hole, tapped it, so that way boxes are secured. I also added these pieces right here, and as you can see, some spots for D-rings. I also added plates in here to put brake lights. So now I have to get ready for the live, which starts in 30 minutes, and the workbench is destroyed. So I'm gonna clean up, figure out what to do with all this, get it out of the way, and start working on something else maybe. I don't know. I need to put the sheet metal on. That's what I really need to do. You know what? I'm going to trace out some sheet metal and just do that on the live real quick. Doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Just need sheet metal on here for everything to sit on. So I'll do that. I'll bring you guys back after the live to show you what I did, and it'll be finished, and then we're good to go. Now I apologize if it seems like I'm rushing. I kind of am. I'm trying to get all the fab work done so that way I can get to painting. I want to paint it so that way I can do final assembly and then go through the joyful fun that will be wiring this thing. So I apologize, but this is how these builds go sometimes. That was actually a lot easier than I made it out to be. So there's some sheet metal on the bottom. So now I have spots to put electronics and wires and other such things for this. So now I can go and get ready for the live. But next week, you will see this thing getting painted. Not exactly professionally, and yes, for all of you who are not new to this channel, it will be with spray paint, because that's how I do things. I do have to figure out the color scheme. Obviously it's going to be green and black like the truck. I want it to match, but it's coming along real nice, so we can get this thing painted, get it reassembled, and start wiring. I'm probably going to try and paint it this week, honestly, so that way on the weekend I can actually film the whole wiring process of this, because the painting's only funny for so long, and it's only interesting for so long. Paint, dry, Roger, got it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. Hopefully by the end of the video next week, this thing will be all put together and ready to tow some stuff. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.